Hey everyone, welcome to Harmony Rising, a sanctuary where peace, presence, and purpose rise together. I'm Ashley, and each episode is an invitation to slow down, breathe deeper, and come home to yourself. So let's begin. This is episode 2. Right, so the title of this episode is going to be It's All About Energy. And you can see I'm bundled up because it's super cold out here today. But let's go ahead and jump in and get started. Welcome back to Harmony Rising. I'm so grateful that you all chose to be here with me again. So let's settle in, let's slow down, and let's choose presence. Last week we opened the door, and this week we're going to actually step inside. Let's reflect on the prompts from last week. I didn't give so much instruction, but every week I'm going to give 2 prompts that you can journal, that you can respond to, that really help you kind of reflect and be a little bit more intentional on who you are on the inside, because you got to really learn to peel through those layers to be honest and real with yourself. So let's take a look at the prompts from last week. What part of yourself have you been longing to return to? That was the first one. And where in your life do you crave more presence? I've been on this healing journey for the last few weeks, right? I had a back surgery, and I will tell you, the place that I've been longing to return to for some reason is this child who loved creativity and art, and as an adult I still do, but I've been really trying to be called to live in that space, even to make these videos. It's just a little bit out of my comfort zone, and it's something that's been called to me, and so I'm just trying to be obedient and listen to that calling. But it's allowing me to have a creative outlet that I haven't had in a while. So that for me was my answer for the first prompt. And for the second prompt, with where do I crave more presence in my life? I'm going to be honest, right now it's about healing my body. It's all about really trying to figure out the best thing that my body needs. And, maybe it's diet, it's exercise. So as soon as this back heals, I'm getting back at it. But those were my 2 answers for those reflections. Make sure you take some time. You can even pause right now if you'd like to answer those questions from last week if you didn't get a chance to. And again, at the end of this video, I'm going to also give you 2 different prompts for this week for you to be intentional on and reflect. Once we move with intention, we can really start to see the steps that we need to take, right? We can start to see the trauma and the patterns that have happened that need to be healed. So again, be intentional for yourself in this space. So let's go ahead and dive into today's episode. It's all about energy. And this one is really foundational in your beliefs and how you govern yourself. Because once you understand your own energy and understand the energies that are happening, that are around us at all times, maybe even people, company that you keep, or conversations that you have to have. Like, I'm a leader, so I come into contact with a ton of people all the time. Some people don't have the best energy, right? So I have to know how to protect my energy, how to call my energy back to myself. These are practices that you can do so that you don't overly exert, right? But the key is to first learn to know your energy, right? So understand your patterns, your emotions, your reactions, what healing you need to have, in the way that you need to move through the world. In Breaking Patterns and Building Peace, I actually wrote, everything is energy, and energy doesn't disappear. It transforms, it shapeshifts, it even imprints, right? So when you really let that truth land, something shifts. That honesty brings things to the surface that requires our intentional attention. Right? Energy is not random. It's responsive, it's intelligent, and it's always communicating with us. Our mind sends signals constantly. Our heart amplifies emotion. Our bodies express the energy that we're holding, right? When I was a young teenager, even before I was a teenager, right? I held a lot of anger. I had so much anger, and it came out in my physical through fighting all the time and, not making the best decisions. But I didn't understand my energy, right? I didn't know that I was almost being governed by energies that weren't necessarily even my own. And I really had to figure out how to come back to myself, right? And that's the goal of healing. The goal of healing, I feel like it's the goal of all of it, is to really come back to ourselves, right? Almost like we are the prodigal son of ourselves, and we have to return home in this journey of life. So remember that again, that mind sends signals, your heart amplifies the emotion, and your body expresses what your energy is holding. Our nervous systems responds to the frequency we're living in. So of course, as a teenager, for all of you who knew me in my teens, right, I'm sure you were riding with me, and we all lived in this state of survival, constant state of survival, right? And the nervous system just was so overworked in this state of survival because we were living in that frequency. Okay, so think about all the things that are happening right now in the world. Think about how many of you are reading about these files and what's going on in our government is despicable, it's disgusting, right? But the reality is you have to call your energy back to you. Don't let them have that. Don't let them create that fear within yourself. You own your energy. And it's okay if you want to educate yourself and understand what's happening in the world. There's nothing wrong with that. But be intentional to understand how to call your energy back to you. Think about that, right? How are we showing up for ourselves every day? Do you take time in the morning to spend time with your spirit? Because if you don't, I highly recommend that you do. Are you angry often? Do you get jealous very quickly? Do you live too much in the future, trying to anticipate every move and overthinking everything? Or maybe you're riddled with anxiety. Maybe you're very depressed because you live in the past and you haven't been able to let go of things that are no longer serving you. This is why presence matters. This is why slowing down matters. This is why coming home to yourself matters. Because when you're disconnected from your energy, you're disconnected from your truth. Let that sink in for a second. Let's talk about the mind for a moment. Your mind, it's like a signal tower. It's like your lighthouse, right? Constantly transmitting thoughts, beliefs, and interpretations. In Everyday Empathy, I talk about how our inner world shapes our outer perspective. So when our thoughts are grounded in safety and compassion and clarity, my energy is going to reflect that. But if my thoughts are rooted in fear, which is why with what's happening in the world today, you have to make sure that after every time you get off of the internet, that you cut the ties and that you call your energy back to you. Because what you don't want to do is be rooted in fear, right? Focusing so much on comparisons that you're missing the point, or you're living in survival mode. Because your energy is going to reflect that, right? The law states that all is mental. And so how we shape that impacts our outer world. And in the empathy element, I talk about how reframing the mind is an intentional process on shifting perspective. So all of these practices really come together to shift how you not only see your inner world, but it shapes your perspective on the outer one as well. So reframing isn't just mental, it's energetic. So when you shift your perspective, you're shifting your frequency, okay? So now that we just talked about the mind, let's talk about the heart. Our heart is not just a physical organ, it's an emotional amplifier. It holds memory, it holds resonance, and it holds truth. Charlie, come here. Come here, Charlie. Come here, Charlie. Come here. Emma, sorry about that. I don't know how to edit videos yet, so just roll with it. Let's back up real quick. So now let's talk about the heart. Our heart is not just a physical organ. It's an emotional amplifier. It holds memory, it holds resonance, and it holds truth. So emotions like gratitude and compassion and love, they vibrate at these higher frequencies, right? So they regulate our nervous systems. They soften our breath. They open our awareness. Where emotions like fear and resentment and overwhelm, they vibrate at a lower frequency. They constrict our breath. They tighten our bodies, right? They cloud the mind and the clarity. Neither is good or bad. It's just a higher level vibration or a lower level vibration, right? They're simply signals and indicators. They're invitations for us to tune in because you're human. You're going to have the human experience. You can't be happy all the time, right? You can't just live in this state of elation all the time. You may be in a space where you're, upset. You had a bad day. Somebody hit your car or something, right? Like you had a moment. But it's an invitation to tune in. This is where your free will lies, right? This is how you can help control what you're feeding into your heart. And then there's the body. Your body is where your energy becomes form. It takes form, right? It's where your emotions land and where our patterns live. It's where our healing begins. Our body remembers what our mind forgets. And this is why traumas from our past continue to pop up in our lives, right? You may have went through a horrible breakup, maybe from your first love, and now every man you try to get with, and now you're 40, and every man you try to get with, since that person who broke your heart when you were 16, you don't trust any of them now because he cheated on you all them years ago. Well, that pattern has now attached itself to the body, right? And it lives in the body. And so how do you break that pattern? It's very intentional, right? We have to be very intentional to heal those wounds. We may have forgotten, but the patterns are still there, and they will continuously return until you intentionally deal with them. Of course, if any of you are looking to heal for anything very specifically, you can hit me up. And, I can reach out to you one-on-one and we can discuss like practices. But this is more so to help you create awareness first and foremost, right? Like we said last week was just kind of introducing. This week we're going to actually open the door, right? So remember that, those patterns, they indicate something needs to be healed. Our body can hold tension, fatigue, but it can also have intuition and truth. It tells when we're aligned and it tells us when we're not aligned. Right? And the reason alignment is so important is because, again, it's all energy. It's all energy. So, when you start listening to your body and you start listening to your life, it's beautiful the way the perception changes. It's beautiful the way you can tie things together. So just take a second with me today. We're going to do a simple guided practice where, we help you tune in to your energy with softness and intention. Okay? Understanding, how do you feel that alignment? All right, this is called the heart breath coherence practice. So give me just 1 second here. If you could place your hand over your heart, we're going to let our shoulders drop. And we're going to slow down. We're going to inhale gently through our nose for the count of 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to exhale for the count of 5. Through our mouths. Inhale again. Exhale. Inhale again. Exhale. Now imagine that your breath is moving in and out of your heart. It's as if your heart itself is breathing. With each inhale, imagine soft glow forming in your chest. And with each exhale, imagine that glow is just expanding. It's warming your whole body now. It's calming your mind. It's softening your energy. Let your breath and your heart, let them move together. There's a rhythm there. You can feel it. It's harmony. It's coherence. Now I just want you to whisper to yourself, either out loud or internally, my energy is my power. My energy is my power. Sit with that for a second. Feel free to pause the video here and really just take a moment. Whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, that's a great practice to come back into alignment. And remember, my energy is my power, because it is. Your energy shapes your presence, and that is where we have to stay. We have to learn how to call ourselves to be in the moment, to be in the present. Because our present is going to shape our choices, just like I tell my kids every damn day for their whole life. Make good choices today. You are a sum of your choices in life. It is simply just that. It will shape your entire life. I have friends that have been making the same decisions since I've known them. Same output. I'm living proof. You make a different choice, you get a different outcome. Come back to the moment, be in your presence, and make good choices. So before we close out today, I want to leave you with your 2 gentle reflection prompts for next week, and we'll kick off next week with these. But what energy have you been carrying lately? What has it been? And what energy do I want to embody moving forward? So what energy do I want to embody moving forward? Remember to let your answers come softly. Journal them and write them down if you'd like. Let them come honestly, and let them come without judgment. So thank you all for being here with me today. Thank you for choosing presence. Thank you for choosing yourself. And as you move through your day and your week, here's your affirmation. My energy responds to my intention. My energy responds to my intention. So as always, thank you again for spending this time with me. If today's episode supported you, grounded you, or helped you connect with yourself, I'd love for you to share it with someone you might need or who might need it. And remember, peace is a practice, presence is a choice, and you are always worthy of coming home to yourself. That's the purpose of it all. So until next time, it was so good spending some time with you all today. This is Harmony Rising, and we're out.